Should I do the camera like that? Oh, Lord help us. Oh, this one ain't. Hi, everyone. And no one, because I'm the only one here. Trying to get my lights. The lights. I'm trying to get the lights. The lights. This light don't never want to act right. Go. This light don't never want to act right. This light. Hello, hello, hello. Damn, I forgot my notebook. Damn it. Forgot my notebook. Had my notes in it. Welcome to our discussion tonight on should you put your kids on medication. Hi, Linda. Should you put your children on medication, psychiatric medication, psychotropic meds? July is Black and Indigenous People Mental Health Awareness Month. So I have made a commitment that I'm going to come on for the month of July and do a live stream and discuss various topics that affect Black folks and Indigenous people as far as mental health, mental illness is concerned. We are underrepresented as far as receiving treatment, and certainly underrepresented as far as in the field. So sometimes that will keep someone from getting, going. If you're Black and you want a therapist, but you want a Black therapist because you feel like a Black therapist would be better, and culturally you'll have a better relationship. That's going to be a separate video. Tonight, I'm talking about, should you put your kids on medication? And I know many people have faced this, because if your kid goes to school and they are acting out in school, your kid, your grandkid, your uncle, your nephew, your great nephew, whatever, if they go to school and they are acting out in school, the school in most cases is going to give a referral for them to have a psych eval. And at that point, that is when most likely, when it comes to Black kids, and I'm going to speak on Black kids because I don't know about the Indigenous kids. I don't. When it comes to Black children and Hispanic, in most cases, they are going to recommend medication. And so then that is when the parents have to make a decision, should they put their child on medication? And it has gotten really so bad that schools are kind of demanding that kids go on medication, or if they were on medication, that they stay on their medication, or they can't go back to school, which is not, I don't want to use the word legal, but a school can't tell you that. A school can't tell you that your child must be on medication or they can't attend school. No. But I've heard schools kind of making that reference that, if he's not going to take his medicine, he can't come to school. And that's not true. So there are other alternatives before a parent should make a decision about putting their kid on medication. As a matter of fact, I would suggest that you do everything else before you allow your minor child to go on medication, especially if they're under 2 years. I mean, not two, forget, they shouldn't even be on meds. Under 10. Under 10 years old, I would not recommend that they go on medication. Um, I would try everything else. Like the school would need to try, I mean, every other means before I would approve my under 10-year-old child to go on medication. But unfortunately, the schools go right to the medication because it's really an easier fix for them. So if your child is sedated, because basically that's what the medication is going to do, is really pretty much this, like, sedate them. Um, they will. That's what they, kind of want. If your child has ADHD and they're like jumping all over the classroom, disrespectful, throwing things, possibly harming other children or themselves. There are so many alternative things that they can do, behavioral mod things that they can do before just going straight to medication. And if I was the parent, I would say to them, what else have you tried? What else can we do? As the parent, what can they do on their end at home to reinforce whatever the behavior modification techniques are? What can they do at home to support that? And so as Black children, as the parent, you have to advocate for your child. It was a well-known case in the Detroit metro area where the mom was arrested for not giving her daughter absolutely psych medication. I don't know. I'm going to look that story up. I wasn't aware of that. I know here where I live, and I've worked in the school systems, and I will be the first to say to, any teacher or the principal, you can't force a parent to give their child medication. You just can't do that. Even though, I mean, and I've been in the schools and seen some really horrible behaviors from these children. But then it's always a case of, what's going on at home around 2011. I'm going to look it up. What is going on in the home? Now, I know here where I live, we do have family intervention programs that, okay, we have like the family intervention programs where they will go into the home and see, like, is mom, stressed out? Is there abuse possibly? Hell, is the kid hungry? Are they coming to school mad and hungry? Or, why are they acting out? Was there a death in the family? And so they will put in certain, like other things, like, let's try this. Maybe they'll get an aid for the kid in school. And, and it's a shame she would have to even go through that. And cases like that are not good for other parents because it sets that precedent that a school can tell me as the parent to put my kid on psychotropic medication and I don't want to. And especially in the Black community, oftentimes the parents are going to they're going to say, no, I'm not doing that. I would say, try everything else before you do meds. I would try everything else. And the school would need to try everything else before I would consider medication. Now, I'm not anti-medication for children. Some kids have a chemical imbalance and you can see it early on, and they need medication. They absolutely do. But like I said, they need to try everything else before I would agree to them having medication. And part of the reason is because psychotropic medications are difficult meds to process. So they process through the liver, through the kidney. And I'm not sure how that's going to look on my child 10 years later if they go through, let's say, elementary school through high school and they're on meds. How is that going to affect their organs 10 years down the road? She pulled a gun on DSS. She was not playing with them to take her only child. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, I want to talk about that too. You know, why are so many of our Black children in foster care? Why are our kids in foster care? That's another question. And then, hi, Maureen. And also, once they get into foster care, now they're already traumatized because they're in foster care and you've taken them away from their parents. And then, as soon as they get in foster care, of course, they're going to act out, they're traumatized. And the first thing you want to do is medicate your kid once they're in foster care. You know, you want to medicate the kid. Yes, the medications do process through liver, kidneys, and it's harsh. It's harsh on adults. So I couldn't imagine what it's doing to a kid. You know, and I'm not saying I'm totally against medication for kids. I'm not. But I need for the schools to do everything in their power prior to suggesting that a kid goes on medication. Now, mind you, some of these parents be pushing meds on their kids too. And I've worked for doctors who have said to mom or dad, like, no, I'm not giving your kid Adderall. I'm not putting your kid on Ritalin. You know, you based on what you're telling me, just because, you know, he said no to you, or, he had a little incident at school, one little incident at school. I'm not putting this kid on medication because of that. You want me to go out the live and Google it? Yeah, if you want to, Linda, I can look it up later. I'm glad she won that case. I'm so glad she won her case, because I'm sure that shut it down for that school to think that they would be able to continue to push that agenda onto other parents. It is no way I would allow the school to just tell me to put my kid on medication. No way. No way, especially if you haven't tried anything else. I'm gonna need for you to get, some other interventions in there with my kids, set up a behavioral mod program, make sure everything is straight at the house, maybe possibly get an aide. Okay, I'll stay if you look it up. Okay, I'll look it up. I want you to try everything else before you would do that. And a lot of parents are faced with this because, I don't know what we putting in the water, but some of these kids, oh Lord, the kids aren't scared of the teacher no more. At a certain level, I had a respect and fear for the teacher, because I knew she could call my parents and then I was going to get a little spank when I got home. And so that kept me in line, and it probably kept everybody else in the classroom in line too, because during that time we knew that we was going to go home and we was going to get a spanking punishment if we talk crazy to the teacher. And, that kept us under control. But these kids, some of these kids they come in hot. They come in hot. And I'm saying from elementary school, forget high school. High school, you better not even look at them wrong or they going off. They don't have a fear of the teacher or the principal. You can't even be like, I'm going to tell the principal on you. They don't care. And so you got a classroom of 30 kids and you got one standing on the desk and throwing stuff and cussing. What do you do as the teacher? Of course, you're trying to get this situation under control. And then sometimes you call the parents, and the parents is a little, they might be a little ignorant, and they like, you lying, and it can be very frustrating for the teacher. I get it. I get that the teachers are frustrated, but medication for children as a number one go-to is not appropriate. Yes, I'm glad my family of educators are retired. It's I couldn't do it. And I go into the schools as a consultant, when I get, I'll get a referral, because these kids are acting up, or kid is acting out and just doing the most in the classroom. So I go in to observe the kid, see what he up to, and then come up with like a treatment plan. But ooh-wee, some of these kids. So you get, and that's why you get these kids acting out a lot like that. In the school, I understand they can't afford an aide for every kid that's acting out. I know that. They can't afford, some schools, they can't afford to get consultants in the school to work with some of the kids. I understand that too. But however, they got to try something. Because the medication, if you've ever known a child on medication, it sedates them and it changes their personality. It does. So your child could be like, woo, 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 kind of a, high-spirited kid, and then they're on medication and they're like flat, no personality. And to me, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. I don't like to see kids like that. I can work with the worst kids in the school, and sometimes I do. And, they got a little swag about them. They hyped up. They bad. I get it. And then, we've tried everything, and then it just comes to the point where it's like, we gotta sedate him. He's a harm to himself and these other kids. These other kids are scared of him. Damn it, they scared. So we got to chill him out. And so, the parents will agree to a medication, and it chills the kid out, but it changes the personality. And I don't like that. I don't like to see that. That's sad to me, to see them like that. And oftentimes, some of the kids, I'm going to say a large percentage of kids that act out in school, there's something going on at the house. Now, it may not be like something, in most cases, it's not anything like sexual abuse or physical abuse. It's just something that maybe the kid is perceiving that may not even be true, but they're acting out because of it. Or it could be bullying in the school. Maybe this kid is not liked, or, stuff like that. I don't know. I've worked with all kinds of kids, kids, with all kinds of behavioral issues. But I think in the last few years before C19, I was seeing kids who were depressed. They weren't even acting out. They physically acting out or being hyperactive. They were depressed, sad, making reference to wanting to hurt themselves. So, yeah, that is an issue. If a kid says he wants to hurt himself, kill himself, or hurt or kill someone else, they, absolutely, they're going to need to have an evaluation, and they may need medication. But as part of this national Black and Indigenous people awareness, mental health awareness, I'm hoping, there are more, we're looking at the numbers and why so many Black kids in comparison to white children are automatically put on medication. if you have, Raheem and Johnny, and both of them are displaying similar behaviors in the classroom, statistically, Raheem, the black kid, is going to be referred to guidance department and ultimately asked, his parents will be asked to put him on medication. And so why is that? Why is that? Excuse me, guys. The same way, with the judicial system, which we'll talk about later, but medication wise, why is Raheem referred to for medication and little Johnny is maybe referred that his mom take him to join a baseball team? Like, that's all he needs is to get on a baseball team and let his aggression out on his baseball team. And, Johnny's mom is not asked to put him on medication. So that's what I'm talking about. Tonight is just every night I'm coming on, I'm going to have a different subject as far as Black people, indigenous people, and not indigenous. I'm going to put it, Hispanic too, but awareness month. And that's it. That's all. Just if your child, if you are the parent and your child is acting out in school, first of all, believe the class, believe the teacher. Believe the teacher. Teachers don't want to have to call you and snitch on your child. If they call you, in most cases, they fed up with your child and they calling to see if you can do anything about it. Now, for most cases, I can call a parent about their child and the parent will snip it. I love me a good snippet parent. Oh, he did what? Oh, y'all not going to have no more problems out of him. And we don't. It'd be the end of it. And as a matter of fact, I love parents like that because I'll use it against the kids. If I'm working in the school, I'll be like, well, let me just, let me just call your mother. I'm about to call your mother and let's just see what your mother got to say about it. And them kids will straighten right up. They will straighten right up. And then we never have to go any further. But you also have those parents that you never meet because they never answer the phone and they don't come to the school and you don't know who they are. And it's just, and the child is acting out, then you have to deal with that. But like I said, make sure the school tries everything else before you, as a parent, allow them to, or not allow, but, move forward with medication. Don't let them just say, your kid is acting out. They did X, Y, and Z. We're referring them to the school psychologist to get an evaluation. Then the school psychologist is going to refer them to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist is going to, in most cases, especially if they're Black, in most cases, they're going to recommend medication. I've seen parents go in to see a psychiatrist for the very first visit with their kid. They're in there less than 10 minutes and they come out with a script for Adderall, which is very addicting medication. Very effective, but also addictive. It's the replacement to Ritalin. Even though we still prescribe Ritalin, I don't, because I don't prescribe, remember. But even though psychiatrists still prescribe Ritalin, Ritalin is like an old med. They in most cases they're prescribing Adderall XR, because you could take it in the morning and then to calm your little self down all day long. For most kids. But maybe we'll talk again about the resistance kids have to taking medications. That's a whole nother fight. I have parents, who need to, they've gotten to the point where their kid is on medication, and now the kid does not want to take the medication because oftentimes within the family, the kid is being teased. That's why you got to take medication. You crazy. Take your medication. Take your medication. And then the kid is picked on within the family system that they're taking medication, and then they're made to feel like they're bad, or it's a lot of dynamics to and then they're sleepy all day. Oh, that's another good one, Linda. Yes. Most times they're so sleepy. The medication, if the doctor don't tweak it just right, they sleepy. They get right on the bus. They don't wake up to about 2:00. Damn, school is over. And you know what? And I've seen teachers be perfectly fine with that. Send them to the nurse, and then they sleep all day. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. What are they learning? If that medicine is going to slow their brain down, which we want it to do that, especially if they're hyperactive, it's slowing it down, but is it slowing it down too much that they can't learn now? So that's another issue when it comes to medication. So it's a lot to think about, parents, and don't let the school rush you into your decision. Because I'm saying the school because that's really where you're going to hear it from first. The school is going to call you and say that your kid is out of control and he's suspended again, or they're thinking about suspending him. So that's when this will first come up for most parents. And some of you really got to know your kid during the school day when you was dealing with them during COVID. You really got to see what it was. Of course, that's different, the fact that they, had to do homeschooling or whatever. But for the most part, the kids will be returning back to school, and there'll be a lot of referrals made to the guidance departments to get these kids back on track. But it doesn't have to be medication. Then they call CPS. Oh, God. If we use the example again of Raheem and Johnny, in most cases, Raheem's mother will be called on for CPS, and Johnny's mother will not be. So that is why, as Black folks, we have the most, our numbers are higher in getting the CPS calls. And oftentimes it may start at the school. The school makes the CPS call, and then it just snowballs into this big, massive mess. And next thing you know, your kid is in foster care. What? Which traumatizes the kid. And then the behaviors are even worse. And then once they're in foster care, a judge can order them on medication if the parent doesn't agree with it. So it is, because even if your kid is in foster care, as parents, you still have your rights. Until your rights are taken away, you still have rights. You still make a decision about if you want your kids on medication or not. So that's another subject, we could talk about. But this is, July is Mental Health Awareness Month for Black and Indigenous people. And it was created by B.B. Campbell, who was a writer, a famous, Black writer who did pass away. I think she passed away of cancer. But this is one of her foundations that will, live on past her. because her daughter, her daughter from In the House. Her daughter was on the show In the House with LL Cool J, and her daughter is mentally ill. I forget her name. I forget her daughter's name, but her daughter was and is mentally ill in the house. And her daughter, I believe she's in Atlanta, because people sometimes, Maya Campbell, her daughter's name is Maya Campbell, and she's very much bipolar. And before her mom's death, she was doing a lot to try to get Maya help. And Maya's bipolar with psychosis and probably borderline. Maya's very, very mentally ill. Beautiful, beautiful lady. And because of her mental illness, she ended up on drugs, and she was, and she still does live in Atlanta. She prostitutes right in Atlanta. There have been celebrities that actually go to the gas station where she's usually prostituting, trying to get her help, trying to help her. People have made videos about her. Oh, thank you. Oh. People have made videos about her. I need something to drink. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me go grab me some water. I'll still talk. But people have made videos about Maya and, just took advantage of her. They made sex videos about her with her. So her mom fought hard to help her, and oftentimes she refused help from her mom. But she started this foundation, or she left money behind to start this foundation. And so what the foundation is doing is really just getting the awareness out about mental health and mental illness in the Black community. So thank you to her mom, and may she rest in peace, continue to rest in peace. I'm trying to put my camera back on. May she continue to rest in peace. And hopefully one day Maya will get help. Maya herself will get help, because I think Maya has a daughter. Maya does, yeah, she has a daughter. But yeah, so that's it. That's really all I have. Thank you, Linda, for sticking with me and sharing this video. Hopefully people will. I hear the fireworks. Ooh. So hopefully people will, other people may share this video or talk about children, because Black kids are at not risk, but they're at risk for being diagnosed with psychiatric disorders and then being put on medication before other interventions are used. And I think that's what we want. Try everything else before you decide or offer our kids, Black kids, psychotropic medications. So that's it. That's all. Thank you. Tomorrow, I forgot what my topic is tomorrow, but I will be back at 9 p.m. with another topic. Now, usually I didn't preview this video, so I need to do that. I think that helps to get more people to when I premiere it, and I didn't premiere this one. So hopefully people will be able to go back and watch it. Thank you. Good night.